Environmental science and biodiversity. Welcome to the intriguing world of environmental science, where the complexities of nature meet human ingenuity, and where every decision we make can ripple through ecosystems in unexpected ways. In this chapter, we'll embark on a journey through the realms of biodiversity, island biogeography, and the surprisingly fascinating world of soil texture. Fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be an enlightening ride. The dance of biodiversity, nature's symphony. Picture Earth as a grand stage where millions of species perform an intricate dance of life. This performance is not just for show, it's the essence of biodiversity, the variety of life in all its forms, from genes to species, and the ecosystems they inhabit. But here's a twist in the plot. Not all parts of our planet host the same number of species. Some areas are like exclusive clubs, home to a unique set of species, known as endemic species. These regions, often teeming with life that's found nowhere else, are biodiversity hotspots. But what makes a region a biodiversity hotspot, you ask? It's a bit like a rare collection of art that's in danger. These areas have an unusually high number of endemic species, but here's the catch, they're threatened by human activities. Imagine an artist's masterpieces on the verge of being lost forever, and you'll grasp the urgency of protecting these ecological treasures. Island biogeography, not just about islands. Now, let's set sail to the concept of island biogeography, but don't be fooled by its name. It's not just about islands in the ocean. This theory, a cornerstone in conservation biology, looks at how species diversity is balanced by the processes of immigration and extinction. It turns out, the principles of island biogeography are incredibly useful in understanding and managing isolated habitat patches, much like islands in a sea of human development. Think of each isolated habitat as a mini island, surrounded not by water, but by landscapes altered by humans. The equilibrium theory of island biogeography helps conservationists predict which species will survive in these fragmented habitats and how to manage them effectively. It's a bit like a strategy game, where the goal is to maintain a balance of species in a world that's constantly changing. Soil texture, the Earth's skin. Let's dig a little deeper, quite literally, into the topic of soil texture. Soil, the thin layer covering Earth's surface, is much more than just dirt. It's a complex mixture that supports life in myriad ways. Soil texture, a key characteristic of soil, is determined by the relative amounts of sand, silt, and clay it contains. Picture soil as a recipe. Just like in cooking, where the balance of ingredients can make or break a dish, the balance of sand, silt, and clay in soil determines its texture and, in turn, its suitability for different types of plants. Sand particles are the chunky bits, providing aeration and drainage. Silt particles are smoother, like a fine flour, holding water and nutrients. And clay? It's the sticky stuff, holding everything together but also making soil more compact. The perfect soil texture has just the right mix of these three, creating a hospitable environment for roots to spread and thrive. Tying it all together, the big picture. In the grand scheme of things, understanding the nuances of biodiversity hotspots, the application of island biogeography, and the significance of soil texture gives us powerful insights into how we can live more sustainably on this planet. Each concept, like a thread in a tapestry, weaves into the larger picture of environmental science, showing us how interconnected and delicate our world is. Ecological communities and invasive species. Ecological communities are not just random assortments of species, they are intricately connected through relationships that have developed over millennia. These relationships can range from the mutual benefits of pollination between bees and flowers, to the predator-prey dynamics between wolves and deer. But what happens when a new element is introduced into this balanced system, especially one that has not co-evolved with the existing community members? To illustrate this, let's delve into the plight of the American chestnut tree, once a dominant species in North America's eastern forests. The American chestnut's downfall began with the introduction of a foreign element, the chestnut blight fungus. This fungus, accidentally introduced from Asia, found the American chestnut to be an easy target. Why? Simply because the chestnut had not co-evolved with this pathogen and thus lacked the necessary defenses. The chestnut blight story is a classic example of what can happen when an introduced species enters an ecosystem where it has no natural checks and balances. In its native Asian environment, the chestnut blight fungus coexisted with chestnut trees that had developed resistance over time. However, the American chestnuts, blissfully unaware of such a threat, were sitting ducks to this foreign invader. The rapid spread of the blight across the U.S. decimated the chestnut population, transforming lush forests into graveyards of standing dead trees. This incident highlights the significance of coevolution in ecological communities. Coevolution, a process where species evolve in response to each other, creates a delicate equilibrium in ecological communities. It's like a dance, where each partner adjusts their steps to match the other. When a species, like the chestnut blight fungus, enters a new environment without its usual dance partners, it can step all over the existing ecosystem's toes. This disruption can lead to drastic consequences, not just for a single species, but for the whole ecological community. This story of the American chestnut and the blight fungus is more than just a tale of ecological misfortune. It teaches us valuable lessons about the interconnectedness of life and the importance of evolutionary relationships. It reminds us that introducing a species into a new environment is not a simple affair. It's akin to throwing a wrench into the finely tuned machinery of an ecosystem. The repercussions can be unpredictable and far-reaching. In ecological communities, everything is connected. The loss of the American chestnut had ripple effects throughout the ecosystem. The chestnut trees were not just timber and shade providers. They were crucial food sources for wildlife and an integral part of the forest's structure and function. Their demise altered the forest's composition, impacting species diversity and ecological processes. As we ponder the fate of the American chestnut, it's vital to recognize the role humans play in shaping ecological communities. Whether it's through the introduction of invasive species, habitat destruction, or climate change, our actions can have profound impacts on the delicate balance of nature. The chestnut blight saga is a call to action, urging us to be mindful stewards of the environment. Ecosystem ecology unveiled. Understanding an ecosystem begins with identifying its boundaries. These boundaries aren't always visible like the walls of a room, but are often defined by natural features. Take a drainage basin, for instance. It's not just about the water flowing into it, rather, it's the surrounding mountains, hills, and valleys directing the water flow that outline its boundary. Imagine being a raindrop landing on a mountain peak. The path you take down the mountain determines the particular drainage basin you'll join. The dance of energy and matter. Central to ecosystem ecology is the flow of energy and cycling of matter. Plants, as producers, convert solar energy into chemical energy through photosynthesis. This energy then cascades through the ecosystem, sustaining various life forms. Alongside, matter cycles through these living organisms, the atmosphere, soil, and water, in a continuous loop. It's like a cosmic dance, with energy and matter as the dancers, gracefully moving through the ecosystem. Humans and ecosystem dynamics. When humans step into the picture, the dynamics of ecosystems can change dramatically. In urban or agricultural areas, ecosystems often lose their homeostatic regulation, the ability to maintain internal stability. Think of a city as a human-dominated ecosystem. Amidst the concrete and steel, the natural regulatory mechanisms struggle to keep up, leading to environmental challenges. Ecosystem services, beyond the tangible. Ecosystems offer a plethora of services, some more apparent than others. While they provide essentials like food and clean water, there are also cultural ecosystem services. Consider the awe-inspiring beauty of a forest or the serene calm of a mountain vista. These experiences, though intangible, are vital contributions of ecosystems to our well-being. Decomposers, nature's cleanup crew. Now, let's shine a spotlight on the unsung heroes of the ecosystem, decomposers. These organisms, like earthworms and millipedes, play a critical role in recycling nutrients by breaking down dead organic matter. They're like nature's cleanup crew, ensuring that nothing goes to waste. Diversity, the ecosystem's insurance policy. A diverse ecosystem is like a well-stocked toolkit. The more tools, or species, you have, the better equipped you are to handle any situation. This diversity is crucial for the provision of ecosystem services. It ensures resilience against environmental changes and disturbances, acting as a buffer for the ecosystem's health. The nitrogen dilemma, too much of a good thing. Nitrogen fixation, a process essential for life, has been significantly altered by human activities. Historically, this process was largely driven by biological means. However, with the advent of agriculture and the Haber-Bosch process for creating fertilizers, we've almost doubled the rate of nitrogen fixation. This increase, though seemingly beneficial, has a dark side. The surplus nitrogen from fertilizers often washes into water bodies, causing eutrophication. This process leads to excessive algae growth, which subsequently depletes oxygen in the water, creating dead zones devoid of aquatic life. It's a classic example of how altering a natural process can have cascading effects on ecosystems. Climate change, unraveling the web. At its heart, climate change revolves around the Earth's climate system, a delicate balance of various components including the atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and geosphere. This system is driven by the sun's energy, which warms the planet, and is further influenced by the greenhouse effect. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide trap heat, maintaining Earth's hospitable temperatures. However, when the concentration of these gases rises, as it has been due to human activities, the balance is tipped, leading to global warming. The feedback loop, a tangled web. One intriguing aspect of this process is the concept of feedback loops. Think of feedback loops as nature's domino effect. A change in one element triggers a series of reactions, which then further amplify or dampen the original change. A classic example is deforestation leading to soil erosion. When trees are removed, the soil loses its anchor, erodes more easily, and this erosion further exacerbates the loss of vegetation, a perfect storm of negative consequences, which, paradoxically, is termed positive feedback in scientific parlance. Reading Earth's history, the clues in nature. To understand how the Earth's climate has changed over time, scientists turn to natural archives. Fossils and chemical isotopes found in sediments and glacial ice are like pages in a history book, telling tales of past climates. By studying these, researchers can infer global temperature trends and how they've shifted over millennia. Fossils paint a picture of the types of plants and animals that thrived in different climates, while isotope ratios reveal the temperature and precipitation patterns of bygone eras. The human hand, accelerating change. Humans have significantly altered this natural course of climate change. Industrialization, deforestation, and the burning of fossil fuels have led to an unprecedented increase in greenhouse gases. This human-driven alteration is like putting the climate system on a fast-forward track, leading to rapid changes in temperature, weather patterns, and sea levels. The ripple effects, more than just warmer weather. The impact of global warming is vast and varied. Rising sea levels threaten coastal communities, while more extreme weather events, like hurricanes and heat waves, pose immediate dangers to life and property. But the implications don't stop there. Global warming also affects ecosystems, leading to shifts in the migration patterns of fish and birds. However, it's a myth that warmer winters would reduce mortality rates. In fact, the overall health impacts of climate change are predominantly negative, including an increase in diseases and health-related issues.